Good evening. It is 6 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. All board members are present. It is the practice of our Board of Education to begin our meetings with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. We invite you to bow your heads for prayer and stand to join us in the pledge if you so choose.
Let us bow our heads. Lord, we respectfully ask for your guidance and wisdom as we proceed with the business before us. Keep us mindful of our purpose of providing a quality education for the students attending Taylor County Schools. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Stallings, do we have any adjustments or addendums to the agenda?
In fact, we do not, Ms. Garvin. Thank you.
That is delightful. The superintendent respectfully requests approval of the agenda as presented.
I have a request, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 5047 and 5048. I'd like to pull both of those items, and I'd like to vote on 5048 first and then 5047, if I'm approved to do that.
Individually?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second for the individual votes on 5047 and 5048?
I'll second that.
Mr. Dowdy seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you wait one moment while I capture that information?
Yes.
5047
and 5048.
with
to be-
5048 going first, is that what I
Correct.
understand?
Mrs. Garvin, may
Yes,
I
sir.
please request 2051 to be on a separate vote so that I may recuse myself from that?
Certainly.
The number again, sir?
2051.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a second for 2051 to be pulled for a separate vote?
Second.
Okay. I heard Mrs. Gallo first. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. At this point,
Did you vote on the,
I believe we have a motion
thank you.
to accept the agenda as now adjusted. I believe we need a second for that.
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
So to be clear, that was not Taylor?
Yes,
Thank you. My apologies.
no worries. That moves us into the 1000 series.
There we go. I think that's me.
Yes, it is. Tell us things.
So I have a few things that I want to share with you, and instead of a written, I have you had requested last time, making sure that your reservations and or hotel accommodations regarding the School Building Authority Conference is scheduled for September 5th and 6th. I've taken the liberty of putting together an envelope that has each of your information based on your request, whether it was virtual and or in person and or reservations. And so this includes your confirmation number if you're going, or confirmation that you've been registered. And I'll just pass these around and ask that you take the one that has your name, of course. Thank you. The second thing I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is I have a copy of the County Board of Education action items for implementing 2025 legislative acts. This is a copy for your reference, for your binder. We received this more recently, and so I'll ask that you have a copy for your binders for your reference as we go through. Not necessarily just tonight, but at all. Shouldn't be, they're just basic, quick overviews of those. That information is now available to you. There should have been 5 of them. I also have for you a copy of the letter that we'll be discussing as a part of the 8,000 series. I'll give you that momentarily rather than confusing you about where we are with that. You all received that electronically, I'm sure. I believe you did. And I've taken the liberty of having that ready for you to do some wordsmithing should you be inclined to do that. If not, I also have originals that can be signed tonight per your preference when we get to that. On a more recent note, I wanted to share with you that for the last 2 days, our administrative council has been enjoying and participating in a 2 full-day training for the Capturing Kids' Hearts program. That is a culture changer for school systems. Originally participated in by Dr. Decker and myself, and then expanded to some of our directors here, and then it was definitely something we felt it would be appropriate to bring to the county, and we did that yesterday and today. Subsequently, it will be expanded to our building faculty, and those will be in different locations depending on the size of the group, etc. And we had a dynamite trainer. Her name is Dr. Deb Campbell from Texas, and we need her here sometime again. She was wonderful, inspirational, and responsive to what we were learning about one another. The entire training goes through a different method of establishing rules for interacting with one another, and also discovering messages received and messages we think we're sending. And it gives us an opportunity to be reflective of those things. And now the next step for us is we will now engage in a personal goal based on those findings or suggestions, and we'll craft attraction plan, and we'll be revisiting that periodically throughout our directors' meetings and our administrative council meetings and then their faculty meetings, et cetera. And I believe you'll see some very positive things happening for the children in our county as a result of that professional development. We also, as you have probably noticed, I hope you have noticed, that the new Anna Jarvis Elementary School continues to go vertical. And we are now getting ready to start we are moving west to east. I mentioned that last time. The main concrete foundational portion of the floors on the west portion, which is the 2-story primary classroom section, is section B, continues to grow. I was telling Mr. Taylor earlier this afternoon that right now what you're seeing as you drive by is the main hallway walls, and the walls that will be perpendicular to those will start dividing classroom and office spaces, et cetera, restrooms, et cetera. There are meetings in the very near future. This next meeting we have dealing with technology, location of drops and all that stuff that goes in those walls. The architects and our technology team, Mrs. Vandegrift, et cetera, are working together with us to get that done. Next, I believe we are seeing the more east section, primarily the gymnasium, is soon to have its foundation. They started doing the footer pouring recently, and it's my understanding that before you see walls, you'll see the main beams that typically go up in those larger constructions. So that'll be a very promising piece that people start seeing very soon. I think that's where we are right now. Thank you for your time.
I saw the tennis courts
Oh,
are coming along nicely and
Tennis
look
courts.
nice at the high school.
yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. Blue and gold.
Any update on the concession stand in Flemington?
I have nothing on I've tried to make contact, and I will continue. I have no progress to share with you today. I'm so sorry. The only thing I'm concerned about in that regard is those materials that were delivered shortly after spring break that have been waiting for someone to do something that's where your money went, I believe, or a good portion of the money, that it concerns me that those may be, because they're exposed to weather and there's no progress being made on the concession stand, that might be something that you may want to think about what we do with that. I'll talk to Dr. Decker and we'll see about what recommendations can be made about that as well.
how large of an area do those materials take
I-
up on the property?
I apologize, I don't have that dimension, Mrs. Knotts. I can find that out for us.
Because would they fit in the building and down here during the winter that we just purchased?
Oh, that's an option to consider. I don't know, we can look into that. I'm hoping that we don't have to wait.
Yeah, right. But I
but-
mean, if we're not getting any movement on it and we have to protect those,
Indeed, that's a great
could move it.
suggestion. I had not thought about that. That is, and we can look into that. It's disappointing that we might have to be taking the time to have it transported, but we can, yeah, it's worth looking into. Thank you.
Are those materials in our possession? Or are they with the contractor?
I believe they're laying on, they're still on the property of the campus of the school. They were brought, that's as far as they got.
Okay.
About that same time as when you were asking, and I started investigating, and was told that at that point, playoffs, not sports, the playoffs was starting to happen, and some of the children of the gentlemen that were working on it were going to be father coaches or coach fathers or whatever we call them, and could not commit to continue any work until such time that that was over. I believe that season is finished. That should have been by the end of July at the very longest.
Do we know, are they doing any fall season baseball out at that field?
I have not received a call back from them when I reached out to them, so I will
Okay.
continue to ask that question, but those are great questions, sure.
Are any of those materials in any way dangerous and/or impact the student use of that space?
I believe the location is such that they won't be exposed to that, but we can also look into that.
We can just make sure that there's no way,
All the more reason to
yeah.
go with the suggestion Mrs. Knotts is making, because if we find the kids are back, they return on the 25th, we can certainly make sure that we can figure something out between now and then.
well, one, I worry about what Mrs. Garvin said, but two, if they're sitting there, are there weeds growing up around them? Are there snakes? Are there, we
All
need to
valid,
kind of-
all valid
And then
concerns.
we're ready to get school started, and we usually want to make sure the mowing's done and everything looks nice, and I just think
Yes,
if they're
ma'am.
not going to utilize the materials, we might want to look into what we need to do with them.
We can look into that for sure.
But again, if they say, oh, yeah, we're going to have time in September to do it, then maybe we don't move them, but just need to be, you're right, we need to figure something out.
We'll do it. Good questions. Thank you. That's all I have for you this evening.
Do we have any other board member updates or board committee meeting reports? Hearing none, we'll move into the 2000 series, minutes, policies, contracts, and agreements. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on July 22nd, 2025. Mr. Dowdy moves. Mr. Taylor seconds. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Continuing in the 2000 series, we've got a couple of second readings, one for definitions and one for cell phone use. As those are second readings, unless there are questions, no movement needs to happen on those. All right, we are going to vote 2051 as a separate vote. So Mr. Dowdy, if you All right, superintendent respectfully requests approval of item 2051 in the 2000 series. Mrs. Knotts moves.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes 4-0. All right, continuing in the 2000 series, the superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 2052 in the 2000 series.
So moved.
Mr. Taylor moves.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moves us into the 3000 series, which is consent calendar purchase orders. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 3009 and 3010 in the 3000 series? Mrs. Knotts moves.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Yeah.
It's not gonna impact my vote. Put the iPads in the cases. Kindergarten students. The cases that we're getting these are kindergarten students, so I've seen cases that, like, just the thin cases that most people want for are we getting the really thick, like you would get for little kids for these iPads for kindergarten? Like, there's really thick ones with a handle, because little kids bang things.
The ones that I have seen in place, and that is in the last 2 years, are a heavier,
For little ones like
yeah,
that.
more kid-friendly, kid-proof case.
Okay.
Now, I can't guarantee that, but I'm assuming that our technology department is moving that direction appropriately.
They're the same as they've been getting, yes.
Okay.
That was just we just got a
Thicker,
text,
bigger.
got a text from Mrs. Van Griffin,
Yeah.
who handles that for us.
Thank
I
you,
also
Mrs.
want you to
Vandergrift.
know that they are very diligent about refurbishing and watching if there are things that are for breakage and those kind of things. They're very good at that, our team.
I just know I see some, with the little kids having the big, thick, fat ones that protect it a little more. So I was wondering if we were getting those or not. That's it. It doesn't impact my vote.
Okay. As a point of reference, we have passed the 3000 series, which brings us to the 4000 series, financial budget supplements, vouchers payable. Mr. Dolan, tell us happy things.
Absolutely. So the one budget supplement that we have on the board agenda for this evening was a $1,000 grant that the middle school received from the West Virginia Culture and History to help with their trip to Washington, D.C. So they received that shortly after one of our previous meetings. So that's the only budget supplement we have this time. And then inside your packet are a list of checks that have been written for bills that were owed and some of our payroll items that we have to pay. And then the rest are just checks that are ready to be released upon your approval for bills that are due.
And how are our investment pieces doing?
They are doing well.
Okay.
They
I know that's-
continue to stay at about 5%, and I will provide an update during the next meeting
Thank you, sir.
on how we are doing this year so far.
Do you have any other questions for the 4000 series? Hearing none, the superintendent respectfully requests approval of items in the 4000 series.
So moved.
Mr. Taylor moves, Mrs. Gallo seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. That brings us into the 5000 series. Let me just get my pages in order here. We have two items in this series that we called for a separate vote. Would you like to do those at the top of the series or the bottom of the series?
We can do it now.
Okay, let's do that at the top of the series. We will focus first on item 5048. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of item 5048 in the 5000 series.
So moved.
Mr. Taylor moves.
Second.
Y'all want to rock, paper, scissors for it? Okay, Mrs. Gallo seconds.
You're never louder than me. What? What?
Questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Second, for a separate vote, item 5047. The superintendent respectfully requests approval of item 5047 in the 5000 series.
I'll move it.
Mrs. Knotts moves it.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds it. Questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I believe that was 5. Okay, that brings us to the rest of the 5,000 series. Our several employment, extracurricular, extra duty contracts, some summer employment adjustments, professional subs, service personnel employments, resignations, creation of some additional bus operators and bus aides, and a leave of absence. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 5042 through 5054, with the exception of 5047 and 5048 in the 5,000 series.
Moved.
Mrs. Gallo moves.
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconds.
Uh,
Questions, comments, concerns?
I have one.
Ma'am.
The summer employment where we have the original agenda correction,
It was a time
What-
shift.
was
Oh.
it just that once we started into it, we realized we didn't need them till 2:30? Or was that a mistake on the agenda?
It was a mistake on the agenda.
Like a typo?
Yes,
Okay.
it was a mistake on the agenda that once we got through payroll, that Ms. Fisher had realized that it was a mistake, and so we're correcting it. So payroll has that action to show these people were there that whole time, so we want to make sure it's an action to show that.
Okay.
Any additional questions? Okay, we have an open motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. That brings us,
A comment,
sir.
going back to 5048 and 5047, well, 5048 specifically. I would hope that either the counselor or the interventionist one would be at Anna Jarvis, one or the other, that they would like coordinate their schedules and try to make sure that one of them was there. Now, I realize that there might be crises that happen at other schools that would preclude that from happening 100% of the time, but I would hope that that would happen the majority of the time, that being the larger school and, where that might be needed.
Yeah, and I would agree. When I saw how that was written on the agenda, I know this was, I feel that with the behavior interventionist, that we should, whether it be, probably you all, it would be your job, to deliver the information to the faculty and staff at Anna Jarvis on basically the replacement and what's the reasoning behind the board needing the elementary behavioral interventionist and why we went with one over the other.
Indeed,
Would you
that
please
is
deliver
certainly,
that news, please?
that is certainly one of the things that will be shared with them at all 3 campuses. The other is that, as you'll recall, a part of the request that what you provided me was that we would not specifically assign them to a specific school so that the others didn't feel that they were having to beg for services, because we're never exactly sure where the need will occur. And so that's why those 2 people would be supervised primarily from people here, as well as be available to all 3 locations. I hear your concern, Mr. Taylor, and I believe Mr. Dowdy expressed that before. Both excellent points to be made, and that will also be a reassurance given to all 3 locations.
Right, and then, so with what you're saying, whatever school has the need, they will receive the service.
That is correct.
And Anna Jarvis, we know, everybody knows their needs as well. I'm just gonna speak for me as a board member, hoping that my wish, approving this, right? Because I was very headstrong in not approving the abolishment, that we have the services going to where the needs are in the county. And if that's AJ, then 5048 should be at AJ, whatever the needs are there. We were wanting to make sure that they get the support they need.
I hear you. Again,
That's on you to manage,
Sure,
not
the
us.
intent, the intent is to make sure none of the three campuses feel left out.
Yeah, right.
And
Right.
my hope is that the need won't be too great anywhere, but we will still have it available as needed.
And we will get an update middle of the year-ish on how this is going?
We can certainly do that, yes, ma'am. That's a
Okay.
good question.
Yeah, I also echo what Mr. Taylor said about the coordination with the counselor and the behavioral interventionist. I think, and again, I know that will be on you all, but the other thing that we also requested was solid, objective data to be kept for us to be updated on.
Update,
So,
yep.
thorough, objective data.
Yes, ma'am.
Any additional comments for the 5,000 series? Hearing none, we will move into the 8,000 series, board member comments and discussion, leading off with a discussion of the board's letter of appeal to the U.S. legislative representatives requesting assistance with recent changes to retirement procedures and/or requirements. Dr. Stallings, you have a hard copy of this for us to pick at? Yes, sir.
As I mentioned a moment ago, I prepared a hard copy for each of you to use and write on at your leisure in case there's some wordsmithing that you had in mind. I also, should we reach a point where you don't need to make any edits, or whenever you're ready, I will solicit signatures on the 3 original letters that have been prepared as well. So you received that electronically. I hope you had a chance to look at it. The intent was to capture the information that would be historic regarding the new law, as well as then the appeal to help us with the dilemma that we believe is being created as a result.
Yep.
And our focus is on not shortchanging the services our children are needing through the substitutes availability.
I'm still surprised with everything that's went on in the last few years of having shortages across the state that this was passed this way, but.
As we are all.
If I may, a couple of comments. The intention that I had when I presented this to the rest of the board and to Dr. Stallings is that this letter go to all of our representatives, the Congressman Riley Moore, as well as the other Senator Jim Justice and Shelley Moore Capito. I sent similar letter and all 4 representatives' addresses to the School Board Association, and Dr. Stallings has received some communication from them earlier today,
It's just one copy.
encouraging them to put in requests for letters to go to.
That's just a copy of the correspondence you're
Okay,
referencing,
thank
Mr.
you.
Taylor.
Yeah. Another effort on a similar vein, my son Jay has a number of contacts as a senator and or as a state senator, and he is encouraging through some contacts he has at the federal level an executive order which would have a more immediate effect, although may or may not be able to circumvent law, but he's working on in an effort to do that and get this this 409A circumvented for us so that we can get the state law changed. Notice that once this federal law gets changed, assuming that it does, we are still going to have to go back to the legislature and have them change the state law again. So this is going to be an ongoing process, but this letter is certainly a good step in in the direction of trying to get us, our retirees able to substitute, not only as teachers, but as cooks and bus drivers. We need them all. School systems across the nation are desperate for substitutes, and for a federal law to cause us to be unable to get those substitutes right away is just something we need to take action on if we can.
I have a question. It's 60 days. Now, our school year starts at the end of August. Hopefully, we would have everybody well and not too sick and not catching too many viruses, because most people that retire, their contract's up June 30th, so that would put them sometime around the end of September. Then they'd have to apply, they can't apply before the end of September for that 60 days, right?
And then they'd have to wait for school board approval too.
No, it would be the end of August.
Yes, that's what.
Right.
And then so they can't apply to be a sub until that 60 days is up.
Correct.
So it would be probably mid-September before they would get approved. I mean, that's not January,
Right.
but still, it could impact us depending on,
Yeah, but
could impact us.
from the way I read all of this, we can't even talk to them about employment or substituting
Correct.
until after that 60 days is over.
Which will delay just a little bit longer for sure.
Correct. So they could not apply, like Mrs. Knott said, to be a substitute until after that 60-day window.
September 1st.
So we could no longer accept their retirement letter and then the letter saying, I wish to be a substitute, which is, what's traditionally happened in the past. So we would not be able to do something like that. We would not be able to talk to them about that until, again, that 60-day window.
I mean, it hurts us.
It does.
However, it's not, hopefully, I mean, like this year, we're not starting school till the 25th of August. We could have somebody in
Well,
place.
But the other thing is, we have to think about if we had any vacancies or things
Right.
like that. So
Yes.
I do appreciate Mr. Taylor for taking the initiative to get things rolling with
Yeah.
this, because it is a very valid concern, and I appreciate your work on this, Mr. Taylor.
Because, I mean, if, like Mrs. Galler said, we had vacancies. We have subs that we've had in place. Take those vacancies before we can, because we've had that. I think we had someone that retired and worked for like a whole year before, didn't we, Mr. Taylor? Couldn't find somebody to do a job way back when?
Well,
Wasn't that you?
I had a year of retirement, and then in 2013, they had me come back for a long-term sub thing.
Yeah.
Because they could not find a biology teacher. And, that, of course, that would have been way past my 60 days, but, the point is, we need those subs, and
Yep.
and this is just a step in the right direction if we can
I
get them to
agree.
change this.
I agree, because once, like Mrs. Galler said, you have the subs taking up the vacancies, and then you don't have the subs to sub for the people that are sick.
And as you mentioned, it's not just the classroom teacher that we may have shortages of from time to time, and
Yes.
sometimes there's a more scant already. However, I believe we just recently had a successful, I learned today that it was yesterday afternoon, the middle school sponsored a meeting where they were encouraging people that might be interested in becoming substitutes for us. I don't believe they were retirees, but they were others that we're trying to invite to consider doing that. So there's some promise there, I understand.
Yes, it was great. So I want to compliment Mr. Moore, he and the administration up there put that together. They invited me up, and they always encourage people to come up to the middle school and substitute. And of course, they say you can go anywhere, but they try to recruit them there, which is great. But we explained the process, and hopefully we have some of those people that attended apply and start working. So positive thing.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor and Dr. Stallings, for wordsmithing this. I personally don't have any problem with this, unless anybody else sees something that they feel desperately to wordsmith, we will entertain a motion to accept this letter and sign it before we leave the premises this evening.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Knox moves, Mrs. Gallo seconds. Any additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. There is nothing else in the 8,000 series. So we're going to move on to the 9,000 series, future meetings. All of these, August 19th, 6 o'clock here at the board office. September 9th, 6 o'clock here at the board office. September 23rd, 6 o'clock here at the board office. October 7th, 6 o'clock, West Taylor.
All right.
All right.
Hey, since the October 1st meeting is going to be on the 7th, will the second meeting be on the 21st rather than the 14th? Okay.
It's here.
Well, that's important to me because I have some out-of-town company coming in from California on the 14th, so 21st? Okay, good.
Okay. With there being no other business in the calendar section, right? Okay. At this point, we will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Dowdy moves.
Second.
Mrs. Knott seconds. All those in favor? Aye. And we are adjourned at 6:37. Thank you all for your time and attention this evening. Travel safely and enjoy the sunshine.